In the heart of the forest, where the trees stood tall and the air was filled with restless chatter, a peacock emerged like a living jewel. Its feathers shimmered under the sunlight, a cascade of iridescent blues and greens that seemed almost unreal. Every step it took was deliberate, graceful, as if the very ground beneath it existed solely to be walked upon by such magnificence. When it spread its tail, an explosion of color and symmetry filled the air, leaving the other animals breathless. Among the crowd, the crows watched in silence. Their dull black feathers seemed even darker in contrast to the peacock's radiance. They had never seen anything like it. The peacock did not need to speak, did not need to do anything. Its mere presence was enough to command attention. Wherever it went, admiration followed. The forest creatures whispered about its beauty, praised its elegance, and craned their necks just to catch a glimpse of its dazzling display. The crows, once content in their own world, now felt something unfamiliar, a longing. They had never cared about beauty before, never questioned their place in the forest. But now, as they watched the peacock bask in endless adoration, a thought began to form. Perhaps if they could be more like the peacock, they too could shine. Perhaps they could rise above their ordinary lives. And so, as the peacock continued its silent reign, the idea took root, growing stronger with each envious glance. The crows could not shake the image of the peacock from their minds. Its effortless grace, the way it commanded admiration without a single word, this was power, and they wanted it. So, one by one they began to change. Some searched the forest floor for fallen peacock feathers, tucking them awkwardly into their own dark plumage. Others dipped themselves in puddles of colored water, hoping to mask their dullness with artificial brilliance. They practiced walking slowly, lifting their heads high, mimicking the peacock's poised steps. At first they felt triumphant. When they caught their reflections in still water, they saw hints of something new, something greater than just ordinary crows. They paraded around the forest, showing off their new looks, expecting the same admiration that the peacock received. But the other animals only stared in confusion. No matter how hard the crows tried, they could not hide what they truly were. Their movements were stiff, their colors uneven, their borrowed feathers clumsy and out of place. Still, they refused to stop. They convinced themselves that they simply had not done enough, that with just a little more effort they could transform completely. The thought of returning to their old, unnoticed existence was unbearable. So they pressed on, desperate to escape their nature, unaware that they were only making fools of themselves. Then the rain came. It started as a drizzle, soft and unthreatening, but soon turned into a relentless downpour. The crows, caught in the storm, scrambled for shelter, their carefully crafted disguises washing away with every drop. The colored water they had used to dye their feathers bled into the ground, staining the mud in shades of blue and green. The peacock feathers they had so proudly attached slipped free, drifting uselessly into puddles. When the rain finally stopped, all that remained were the crows, black, ordinary, and exposed. They looked at one another, stunned and ashamed. They had tried so hard to be something they were not, believing they could steal beauty and admiration as if they were mere accessories. But now, as they stood there, stripped of their illusions, they realized the truth. No matter how much they imitated the peacock, they would never be peacocks. The admiration they had craved was never meant for them. Meanwhile, the peacock stood untouched, its feathers as brilliant as ever. It hadn't needed tricks or effort to shine. It simply was. The crows, now painfully aware of their own foolishness, turned away in silence. They returned to their old lives, but something had changed. Though they were still crows, still dark-feathered and plain, they carried the weight of their own choices. And somewhere deep inside, a lingering thought remained. If given the chance, would they try again? This story is a biting satire of the modern obsession with image and imitation, especially in the age of social media influencers. The crows represent those who chase fame and admiration by copying surface-level traits, believing that with enough effort they too can shine. But true brilliance, like the peacock's, can't be faked or borrowed. It simply is. In the end, nature, or reality, strips away the illusion. The rain doesn't lie. It washes off every pretense, revealing not just who we are, but how far we've gone to pretend otherwise.